Everyone. We're happy to see you. Lucy, nice to see you. And welcome to Amber and is it Dylan? We're very happy you're here. This is our starting strong as a new county board trustee. And actually, Ronald, if you go to the next slide, we have a little activity for you guys while we're waiting for everyone to join us. And if you could all write in the chat your name, the county you're with, and how you feel about being a new trustee. And we have some prompts here. If you want to use our little chart, you can use the words, or you can come up with your own words about how you're feeling about being a new county trustee. And we're just going to wait a few more minutes. I appreciate you guys being early. I hope you've had a good day. So Diana from Colusa County, nervous and excited. All right. That makes sense to me. That's usually how I feel before each of my board meetings, nervous and excited. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, if you would put your name, your county, and how you're feeling. New, totally. That makes sense, Amber. And I would welcome our folks who are already on, if they want to put their name and their county. And for those of you that have been in service for more than a year, if you want to also add the term of your service. So Dave he's our vice president. He's from Placer County. He's been in service for 12 years. And I'm Dina Lefkowitz. I'm currently the president of ACCB. I'm a Sac County trustee, and I have been on my board for 7 years. And I have to say, it's been an incredible experience. And we've got about 2 more minutes before we'll start. Giuliani, Tuolumne County. She's currently retired, but she was on her board for 25 years, and she's one of our facilitator presenters tonight. Let's see. Hi, Lee, welcome. We're just asking people to introduce themselves in the chat with their name, their county, and how they're feeling about being a new county trustee. And Patricia, welcome. We're just asking folks to put their name in the chat and their county and how you're feeling about being a new county trustee. And we're very excited to have you guys here. And we're waiting for just a few more people. We'll give it a few more minutes. And Lee is from Imperial. Welcome. And you're excited. And we will be doing a little networking ice-breaking activity, so you guys will have a better chance to get to know each other and learn more about each other in just a few minutes. Lucy, I know you're from Imperial County. How long have you been on your board?
I've been on my board for 4 complete years and starting my 2nd term.
Great. Well, thank you for being with us. I know you've been involved in our planning group, and we're excited you're here with us.
Thank you.
And I want to welcome Patricia from San Mateo County, and she's excited about her role as well. And Ryan, welcome. We're just asking people to put their name, their county, and how they're feeling about being a new trustee. And if you could just put that in the chat, that'd be great. And you guys will have a chance to talk to each other in just a few minutes after I do a quick introduction and get us kind of grounded. So we'll just wait about one more minute. I think we're going to start, and new people as they come on will just join. So Ron, may I have the next slide? Okay, so the purpose of today's training is to give you a chance to network with each other, meet each other, to learn about ACCBE and our member benefits, to explore what county boards do and the role of trustees, and to learn about our trustee handbook, which we're all very excited about. We think is rich with information. We want to also introduce our mentoring program today and encourage you to sign up. And then finally, towards the end of the time together, there'll be time for you to share your burning issues and challenges. And then we hope to do some group coaching where we can help you in real time address things that you're thinking about, worried about, challenged around regarding being a new trustee. So that's what we have in store for you in these 75 minutes. It's going to be packed. Next slide, please. Okay, so ACCBE is a new statewide organization, and we are by and for county board members focused solely on the 58 county boards of education and our issues and our at-promise students we serve. We have 4 key benefits. First, we are amplifying your voice and your advocacy for county boards and the students we serve at the local, state, and federal level on issues that matter to us, county board members. We will have a LEDGE committee starting pretty soon to develop our LEDGE strategy. We'll be holding some forums on critical issues, and we'll be helping you build relationships with your legislators so that you can have that relationship. So when we want to do advocacy, they'll know who we are, what we do. A lot of people don't know what county boards do. Our next goal is to build coalitions with organizations like the California County Superintendents, CSBA, the small school districts, the PTA, and other folks who we can leverage our resources with and expertise in support of students. Our third goal is to empower and equip county trustees to be courageous leaders, strong advocates, and effective governance. And we'll offer a quarterly learning session to all county trustees where we can get together and network and learn together. And then we are having this Starting Strong series for new trustees. There's 4 in the series, 4 sessions together, and it includes kind of the format you see today: networking, some learning, and some group coaching. And then, of course, we'll be introducing our mentoring program. And then finally, we'll be spotlighting innovations and best practices because we want county trustees to be able to advocate for really what works at their board level and to have the knowledge to go back to their board and advocate around what really could work to better serve our vulnerable students. We also offer opportunities to volunteer. Again, we are a peer-to-peer organization by counties, for counties, and so we have some committees. We have our advocacy committee, our membership committee, and our program planning committee. And we have a board of directors, and we are actually looking for a few new board members. So we are excited to have you join us in lots of different ways. Also, we have currently 13 boards who have joined so far as members of ACCBE. They represent over 50% of all the students in the state. And our goal is to have hopefully 30 boards join by the end of March. So if your board has not yet joined, we would really encourage you to go back to your board, and in board member comment, you can talk about ACCBE. You can ask that the item be placed on your agenda. We're glad to zoom in and provide comment as well if you want us for support. We also have a draft resolution that you can bring to your board around joining. Finally, we value inclusion, transparency, equity, and innovation. And we hope you'll see these values in practice in the way we operate. So right now, before we transition to our networking, I wanted to just note that Ed Conrado from Colusa County, who's 12 years of experience, will be one of your facilitator trainers. Bev Gerard from San Mateo, an amazing 35 years on her board. And Juliana Ferriani from Tuolumne, again, 25 amazing years on her board, will be leading us and facilitating this session tonight. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ed to lead us through the networking activity. Next slide. Ed, you may be on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Welcome and great to have you all here. As was shared, one of our goals tonight is to get to know each other a little bit better. And we have a networking activity. And the way it's going to work for our new board members, we would ask you to think about these questions here. If our other guests, please give introduce yourself, your information in the chat, if you would, please. Now turning towards our new board members, would someone like to be the first to take a run at where you are located, how long you've been a trustee, why you ran for the office, what you hope to achieve, and if there's a passion or a skill that you feel you'll bring to the position? Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. Thank you.
My name is Katya Armistead, and my pronouns are she and her. I live in Santa Barbara, California, and I am with the County of Santa Barbara School Board as a trustee. And I was sworn in December of 24. I ran for school board because I'm passionate about education. I saw it as an opportunity to get involved in the community. I teach a class here at UC Santa Barbara about civic engagement. So I'm walking the talk.
There you go. And talking the talk.
And talking the talk. And, both my sons are grown now, but they went through the public school system in Santa Barbara, and I have friends that are on the district school boards, and so I was asked too. This wasn't my idea. I was encouraged to consider it and courted a bit, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think I'll do it. So that's how I got. What passion and or skills do you bring to the position? I have my doctorate degree in education. I'm an associate vice chancellor here at UC Santa Barbara. When my kids were in school, I was heavily involved as much as I could as a working mom in the school system. I care very much about educating young people. I'm first generation. I was low income, single parent household. So I really believe in the power of education, how it can make a huge difference in your life. And there's teachers that I can remember and programs that I could participate in that got me to where I am today. So I just think difference.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Who would like to go next?
I can go next.
Okay, Lee, thank you.
So I am located in Imperial County, and I am a brand new board member. I was sworn in December, and I ran for the office for a couple of reasons. I'm retired a year out of ICOE and helped to support the board and was in the superintendent's office for many years. And I absolutely love what our board stands for, how they support our community and our students. And when Dr. Jaime was getting ready to retire from the board, he asked me, much like Katya, I was asked, would you please run? And I said, absolutely, absolutely. And then I let my husband know what I was doing. But I've been with ICUE for 25 years, and I have the history and the knowledge of all of the departments. I was a fiscal manager. I worked in multiple departments, started off in budgeting and accounting. And since we're a fiduciary board, I really felt that I was going to be bringing history, knowledge, understanding of all of the departments at hand, and 8 years of sitting in every board meeting. And so I'm super excited to serve and super excited to be a partner with Miss Lucy.
Oh, that sounds great. Any passion or besides all that information, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, I love continued education. I am a UC Master Gardener, and I'm currently
Oh.
enrolled in the UC Master Beekeeping program. And
Wow.
so I do volunteer teaching at our local libraries. I go to the local school districts and do anything from gardening. We're starting school gardens down here. I actually have
Fantastic.
a meeting tomorrow with our alternative education director to talk about getting a school garden going there, which is a department under ICUE. And I also go around and teach the importance of honeybees in our schools. And it's
Well,
fun.
thank you so much, Lee. Who's next?
I can go. My name is Patricia Love. I am from San Mateo
Thanks.
County. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay. And live in San Carlos, and been a trustee for about a month and a half. And why I ran, well, somebody had asked me, they were trying to recruit somebody to run, and somebody asked me if I knew somebody in San Carlos who might be interested. And I worked at the County Office of Education in the Superintendent's Office as the Executive Director of Strategy and Communications for 7 years. And I thought, hey, that's something that actually, in a different way that I can serve. I was ready to sort of move on to do something different. So I ran a race and a campaign, and that was all very interesting and educational, and won that. So that was cool. And so I worked supporting our board for years. I've worked a lot with elected officials in my career, and I'm familiar with some of the things that the board does and can do. And so I was excited to serve in this new way.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Who's next? Diana, Richard, Jessica, Ryan, Ruth, Mike, Ruben, James.
I can go next.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Amber
Hi.
Johnson.
Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, no worries. I am a very new, fresh, green board member for Placer County. I don't have all the experience that a lot of you all do with the education, but I am a working mom. I have 2 young kids that are in our school district. I'm also run a education foundation. We plan events, and those funds go towards enrichment programs. I'm very involved in our school, and I was just looking for another way to serve. I always had a passion for education, and I'm excited to work with the board members that are on my board, including Dr. Patterson here. Hi. I am very impressed so far. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but just the board itself and the organization is amazing here in Placer County. And I'm just excited to learn more and be part of this amazing group.
Thank you, Amber. Sounds great. Okay, next.
This is Diana. I don't know if my video works or not. Been having some trouble with my computers, but I'd be happy to go next.
We can hear you.
Okay, I am located in Arbuckle, California, which is in the heart of Colusa County, in a small town. I'm a brand new trustee, sworn in December. I ran for office because I did have someone come in. I'm a shop owner, and I had someone come in and ask me because I have always been a big community advocate in my area, been really involved in a lot of events and things like that. And when my youngest was in school, I was as involved as I probably could be for her mom. Knew all the students, it was a small school, but I had a blast, and I was like the cheer mom, and just seemed like I was always there. And I've always had a heart for education, very education based in my career through all the years I've been working. And I was looking for another way to serve. And I believe that if you think something needs to change, or if you want to be part of change in life, you need to be willing to, put some skin in the game and get out there and help work at it. And so since I've got 15 grandchildren going through the school district, so I just wanted to be a part of it. And I'm learning so much already. We have a fabulous group of people, Ed included. And as far as passion and skill, again, I'm such a strong community advocate. I love education. And I'm a pretty outside the box thinker. I like to come up with, I help small businesses in the area with what they need to do and grow their business, and just get out there and get involved.
Well, we're glad to have you on our board. Thank you. And who's up next? Richard, are you there?
Ruben. Ruben, are you saying?
I have Richard Lucas, Ryan or Ruth, or Mike or Ruben, or James.
Ruben.
Okay, Ruben, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Ruben.
He may need the prompt to introduce himself, Ed.
Are we doing I'm sorry, I just got in. I was having trouble getting in. My apologies.
Sorry, sorry about that.
So are we doing introductions right now?
Yeah, just where you're located, how long you've been a trustee, why you ran.
Oh, okay.
We're kind of running short on time, so we're going to go pretty quickly.
Good, correct. Okay, my name's Ruben. I'm a Tulare County trustee, Board of Education. Got elected this November. I was a trustee at Farmersville Unified prior. I had a lot of interest in terms of the county board. I have a special interest for special ed in particular, but I found it to be an interesting venue for me, a good fit.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Hi, this is Mike Waters.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, I'm also from Tulare County. So Ruben and I both came on at the same time here in Tulare County. I recently retired from Visalia Unified School District as an administrator, and this just looked like a really great opportunity to serve.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Who's next? Jessica or Ryan or Ruth or James?
This is Ryan. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ryan. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm in my car, so I don't have video on. My name's
okay,
Ryan McCachran. I'm with
go ahead.
With San Bernardino County Board of Education. I've actually been on the board for the last 2 years, so I'm not completely new, but still fairly new. Prior to that, I served on the Victorville City Council for 8 years and mayor of Victorville for 2 years. So been really involved in our community. My wife's a principal in Victor Elementary School District. Her daughter, my stepdaughter, is a teacher in Victor Elementary School District. I have 2 kids in the county school system. So
wow.
I got education all around me, and it just it seemed like a good fit for me to continue to give back to the community and I'm very passionate about being involved and giving back to the community. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. Drive carefully now. Okay,
Thank
who's
you.
next?
Ed, this is Yvonne. I believe everybody's spoken.
Oh, everyone, okay. Very good. Thank you.
It was
Okay.
great meeting everyone. And I think we'll go to the next slide. And Juliana, you're going to set this up, I think.
Yes. Hi, I'm Juliana Ferriani. I was a board member for 25 years. And I remember being a new board member, and I remember like all of those acronyms, like what are they talking about when they say blah, 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 blah. And I thought, I don't know. And everybody seemed to know. And I remember just being overwhelmed looking at budget and all of it at one time. So I'm so glad you're here and that we can help you feel a little bit more acclimated. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you an overreaching video put on by from the California County Soups Association. They made this video, and it kind of just is a very broad, simple overview of what county boards and county offices do. So we'll start with that one.
What exactly does a county office of education do? And how does its role differ from your local school district? Let's take a look. California's public education system consists of 3 levels: state, county, and local. Regulations, funding, and fundamental policy are established at the state level, while the day-to-day education of students is the responsibility of individual school districts at the local level. County offices of education, or COEs, represent another level, providing an important support system for school districts in their counties and serving as a liaison with the state. While COEs do not directly oversee or govern individual school districts, they do provide valuable support and services that are essential to local school district operations. For example, each of California's 58 county offices of education share a common function to ensure school districts in their counties are fiscally accountable and solvent. They also approve school district local control accountability plans, or LCAPs, provide professional development opportunities, and assist districts with academic performance initiatives. Most COEs also directly serve their county's most vulnerable student populations, including students who have been expelled from their home district, students who are incarcerated or are on probation, homeless and foster youth, students with severe special needs, and early learners through a network of state-funded preschools. A multitude of additional supports are offered by many county offices, some of which include hosting student events and competitions, student enrichment, residential outdoor education programs, and much more. Each county office of education is overseen by a county superintendent of schools. In all but 5 counties, the superintendent is a publicly elected official who runs the COE. Each county also has an elected county board of education, whose responsibilities include approving charter schools and hearing inter-district transfer and expulsion appeals. The county board also approves the COE budget and local control accountability plan, but has no authority over individual school districts. For parents and students, your local school district is the most relevant agency for policies and decisions impacting your child's education. A school district's governance team is composed of the school district administration and a locally elected board of trustees. Local school boards have broad power to approve and create budgets, hire district superintendents, develop and select curricula aligned with the state's standards, and set district-level policies, including those related to facilities as well as health and safety. In California, our system is designed to have the decisions that most affect your child be made at the local level, where you can have your voice heard.
Thank you. I hope that was informational to you. When I saw it, I thought it gave a really nice broad overview of the different levels of administration or boards in California. Next slide, please.
What exactly does a county?
So one of the things that I always try to remember as a board member is, what is the major goal of a board? The major goal of a board is student success. And to do that, you have some key roles as a board member. Come prepared for your meetings. That means looking at your agenda beforehand and asking questions of staff and superintendent ahead of time, so that when you ask those questions in a board meeting, they know the answers, and that way everybody is educated at one time. No, well, you can read the slide. Setting direction, clarity on your values, purpose, and goals as a group, but ask questions or know your board's bylaws and policies. That's your 9,000s. That can be a little overwhelming at first, but that's how you govern yourselves. And make sure that when you look through those 9,000s, that they reflect what you want as a board. They reflect your culture, they reflect your values as an entire board, because you get those policies from some policy group, most of us from CSBA, and there's options, and you can decide how you want certain things to happen, how you govern yourselves. So I think it's really important that you look at that and that you know that. That's your policies. Creating a team and positive environment to govern. That means being respectful, transparent, courteous, ensuring accountability, getting results for students and family. That's your student success. That's how you measure your effectiveness as a board member. Evaluate yourself as a governance team. Are you all as knowledgeable and effective as you can be? That's a very good question to ask yourself. And remember that you're the face of public education. People look at you as having the answers. Sometimes they look at you as having a lot more influence than you have. So they may ask you, what about, I'm concerned about this teacher at such and such a school, and you may have to educate them that that's not your role as a county board member. And maybe help them say, you need to speak to the teacher, you need to speak to the principal, the superintendent, whatever process is in place for that. So next slide, please. Challenges. Remember that there will always be challenges, no matter what. The roles of the County Board of Education and the County Superintendent of Schools are different than those of district boards and superintendents. We have a shared governance model, shared authority, accountability, and responsibility. Your governance team needs to have an aligned vision. You get that through retreats or workshops. And remember that laws are contradictory. For the most part, we have a huge ed code, and it's always being refined. But the legislature and the Attorney General's opinions on certain items might conflict. So if you ever have a question, remember to consult your attorney. Remember that for the most part, elected superintendents and boards are elected, not in all counties, but in most counties. And the voters evaluate the superintendent, and the voters evaluate you every 4 years on the job that you've done. But one of the most important items to remember through the challenges is that you have to govern together to be effective. And always remember what your goal is. Your goal is always, I used to just have this, student success. That is your goal. And if you keep that in mind, you can get through almost all of the challenges. Next slide, please.
Hi, I'm Beverly Gerard, and I'm from San Mateo County. And I get to talk to you about our handbook. I think that the trustee handbook is probably one of the best resources you will have, especially as a new board member. As Juliana said, I know that I've been on the board a long, long time, but I still remember how hard it was as a brand new board member. I had no clue what a board member was supposed to do. And back in those days, there was no trustee handbook. So we now have a wonderful trustee handbook, and it's a guide to shared governance for county boards of education. And it will give you really a clear understanding of the purpose of the County Office of Education. And as you can see, there are a large number of things that this particular handbook will cover. One of the things that I kind of want to point out that most people probably may have a tendency to skip is what is the origin of the County Office of Education and County Boards of Education? I think you'll be very, very surprised when you read that at some of the things you read. It's also a guidance on the authority of what county board members have and what they do. There are very, very specific things that county boards do, and they're very, very important. And we have the legal authority to do those. It will also give you an insight to the roles and responsibilities of the county board in connection with governance of the County Office of Education, as well as the roles and responsibilities of the county superintendent. And in a few minutes, we're going to be going over what some of those roles and responsibilities are for both the board and the superintendent. It also is a guidance on how a county board can best fulfill its roles and meet its responsibility in collaboration with the county superintendent of schools. And I'm going to be very honest with some of you, that can be a challenge. We hope it won't be, but sometimes it is. And the handbook can be very, very helpful in clarifying what the superintendent does and what the county board does, although you will see in a couple of minutes that there are some gray areas. And just some highlights again that I'd like you to look at is the origin of the County Office of Education, our roles and responsibilities as county board members, and also working together in partnership with the county superintendent. And at the end of the presentation, there will be a link to the handbook. It is printed. It is on our website and is printable. And I highly recommend you printing it out and keeping it by your side when you go to your county board meetings. Next slide, please. Now, this particular slide is one of my favorites because I think it helps really look at what county board members do, what county superintendents do, and kind of a middle area that is shared. And this particular slide is available in the workbook. So when you print out your workbook, you will have this slide. County boards of education are play an appellant role for districts for inter-district transfers, expulsion appeals, and charter appeals. And I think this is probably one of the most important things you as county board members will do. And sometimes it's a very, very difficult role because county boards have to make some hard decisions that sometimes districts are not happy with. But if you keep in mind what we really are all there for, and that is what is best for the student, it really helps. Also, county boards are very involved in the purchasing, leasing, and conveying of real property. And I won't go into a whole lot of detail on that right now. We'll cover that probably in one of our sessions later on, but I do want you to make sure that you read that and that you understand it. We also govern our court and community schools, and our court and community schools are for those students that are incarcerated, have been expelled, are on probation, or just for some reason can't function in a normal school setting. And when we say that we're the governing board, we are the Board of Education for the court and community schools. We also authorized and are governed charter schools. And it depends if it's a county-run charter school, then you're going to authorize it and you're also going to govern it. So that is also a huge piece that we look at separately because it can be very complicated. And but we still want you to be very familiar with that going in. We set the superintendent's salary. And there are several different ways that this can be done. In my county, we have a 3-person committee that's formed, and they meet with the superintendent and with our finance department, and we go through and do a whole lot of homework on that and decide on the superintendent's salary. We also review the annual audit, and we approve the LCAP for the County Office of Education. We do not approve the LCAPs for the districts. The county superintendent does that, but we do approve the LCAP for the County Office of Education. The county superintendent accountability agent for districts they approve district LCAPs and they approve district budgets. For county office, they are county office employer. And that's important to know because if you've been on a school district board, you were involved in hiring and firing and all kinds of issues with your employees. In county offices, it is strictly under the purview of the county superintendent. We're the provider of regional services. The county superintendent also operates the court and community schools. And by that, I mean, we do a lot of the back work, but as far as the hiring of the teachers and that part of it, the county superintendent does. We also have a statewide system of supports and they prepare the LCAP. So the county superintendent prepares the LCAP that we approve for the County Office of Education. And in the middle, we should have a shared vision and mission, student outcomes, the County Office of Education budget, court and community schools, the County Office of Education charter schools, and community engagement and advocacy. Next slide, please. So for shared governance, Julie and Anna and I are kind of going to share this. She's going to be interjecting, but ACCBE believes in order to jointly lead county offices of education successfully, both county boards and county superintendents should pursue the concept of shared governance, and it's characterized by shared authority, accountability, and responsibility, and to the extent possible, an aligned vision. Only through a collaborative and shared governance process can both entities govern together effectively and seamlessly for the benefit of students and their families. And Juliana is just going to give you a couple of examples of this.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, one thing that you have to think about is how many people are on your governance team? I can't see anybody else's picture except mine and Bev's, but I will say that most people think if you're on a 5-person board or a 7-person board, most people think that their governance team are the members of their board, either 5 members on that governance team or 7 members of that governance team. I will tell you that's wrong. There are either 6 people on your governance team or there are 8 people on your governance team, because the governance team is the county board and the county superintendent working together. Shared governance to, I can just keep saying this over and over, for what? Student success, because that is your ultimate goal. With that shared governance, one thing you should remember is collaboration for student success. That means there's no surprises. At a board meeting, there's no surprises, no gotchas. You don't ask questions trying to catch the superintendent by surprise. You truly want a collaborative a governance team. Being respectful, courteous, and kind are all part of that shared governance. Along with that is trust, open communication, confidence in your relationship, honesty, transparency. You don't always have to agree. You won't always agree. That's part of the challenge. And that's one of the great things about so many different people coming together with different backgrounds to ensure student success for county students. But you have to respect those differences of opinion. That's very important.
Can I jump in here just one
Yes,
second?
go ahead. I was going to ask you if you had anything else you wanted to add.
I do. And what Juliana just said is so important. You have to have respect for your fellow board members. And as she said, you may not always disagree, but you really do need to be respectful and considerate of your fellow board members during a meeting. And that goes for not only what you say, but your actions. And remember, I think most board meetings are either recorded. Some county offices like ours are on Zoom. So if you're rolling your eyes and making faces, everybody is seeing that. So please, please remember to be professional in what you say, how you conduct yourself, and how you look. Thank you.
And that's part of that as being the face of public education, because how you're conducting yourself in your meeting and how your meetings are conducted also sets an example for local school districts or other groups of people working in education. So very important. So next slide, please. These would be some shared governance examples. And I would like to add, I'll go through these in just a minute, but some things I would also like to add before that is being an effective board member is more than just attending monthly meetings. It's also attending trainings and workshops. It's volunteering, it's attending school events, it's being involved in your county office and in your county-wide educational community. Some shared governance examples. The county board approves we went over a little bit of this in the previous slide, but the county board approves the county LCAPs. The county superintendent develops the LCAPs and approves school district LCAPs. That doesn't mean that you can't be on a committee to help develop the county LCAP. A lot of counties have committees, so you approve it, but you can also be a part of it. The shared governance part of that is student outcomes. You also approve the county budget. We don't develop the whole thing, but in a lot of counties, there is a budget committee where county board members can attend and give input on how that budget is developed. We establish the court and community schools. The county superintendent operates those schools. We authorize and govern the county charters for the dependent. The county superintendent operates and oversight. So I hope you can kind of tell the difference now of what's going on of what the county superintendent does and the county board's role. But it all comes together under shared governance. We authorize county office charters, and the county office does the oversight. Community engagement. We all listen and respond. All of this. The same for advocacy. One thing for advocacy, and I know this is going to be in a future workshop, but get to know your legislator. Send them an email. Send them a note. Call them, introduce yourselves at their office hours. Say, I'm Juliana Ferriani, Tuolumne County Office of Ed. I just want to introduce myself. If you have a question about education, I'd like you to contact me or my county office. So that's what I have for shared governance and examples. I think Beverly was going to do our last slide.
I think this is in partnership with Ed, if I'm not mistaken. But I would just like to reiterate really quickly that the county superintendent cannot share their statutory and regulatory duties and accountability with any other entity. They can work cooperatively with county boards to see that each supports the other in the performance of their duties. And some examples of that are the superintendent supports the board with administrative and logistical support for its meetings and hearings and assist us in complying with conflict of interest laws and mandatory training. Board members have no authority to act except when functioning as a board member at a board meeting held in accordance with the law. And the board supports the superintendents by providing resources, including budget necessary to hire and direct staff and provide services. We are going to be talking a lot more about this slide in our next presentation that we will be doing for the training, which will be on March 3rd. And we'll be sharing and talking about lots of examples. Next slide, please.
Right.
And now, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask of us right now? We have a few minutes for questions before we move on to the next part of our presentation.
How have you all found this issue of being clear on your roles? Are there roles that you have learned about tonight that you hadn't been aware of, or are there roles that, or is the issue of shared governance? Have you had experiences yet where it's not always clear what's in your sandbox versus the superintendent's sandbox? Curious.
Patricia, you're muted, but yes.
I just had a question. This has come up on the approval of the curriculum for the Corton Community Schools. Whose responsibility is that? How does that actually play out in the various county offices represented here?
So in our county, in Tuolumne County, we approved the curriculum. We did not develop the curriculum, but it was presented to us and we approved it. I don't know if it's different in other counties, but that's what we did.
And so when there's changes, it comes back to you to review and such?
Yes, it does. Or yes.
Our county is the same. I think that's a statutory, Dave Patterson's on the call here, but I thought it was a statutory role that we play.
It is a statutory role, and the only thing I would add is that in our county, when we knew what new curriculum adoptions we need to do, we often pre-met, had a good briefing from the board, was able to give from staff, was able to give the staff some feedback about what we wanted in the process, so that we had an action item that met our needs as well as the community needs, as well as the professional staff as they did it. So there was a pre-process that helped us do it, but and we also actually got updates as the process went along. So it was a high quality collaborative process, because you don't do them that often, and so often a board will need to get reminded about what the process is.
And I always thought, especially from COVID with all of the Zoom learning, and even in a lot of we are in a very small rural county, so we do a lot of virtual learning and a lot of virtual programs for our Corton Community Schools. And so I thought it was often very interesting to actually go on those virtual sites and see what they were learning, how they were set up, that kind of thing. So not just the textbook type, but also what's being taught virtually.
Thank you.
Next, you're welcome. Thank you for your question. Another question? As David wrote in the chat, don't be shy. This is your opportunity. Oh, yes.
Sorry, nobody else is going. I'm curious from those from other counties, what have been sort of the greatest challenges that you have faced with respect to your shared governance goals, and how did you address them? And like sort of what are things heads up that you might have, or like when things got maybe either tense, or has it always been gone swimmingly, or just any sort of advice, thoughts you have?
This is a really big question, and partly why we're hopefully going to continue to have this conversation. I think just for me, well, one is just hopefully having a relationship where you're with your superintendent, where you can have that trust and speak truths, and really hopefully be able to share areas of concern or ambiguity. A lot of times it's ambiguity. Sometimes it's looking at your board bylaws, the 9,000s that Juliana talked about. And like we have a bylaw around who sets the agenda for our county board. And I think some of us want to look at that bylaw and maybe think about changing it up a bit. So being really clear on looking at your bylaws and making sure they're clear, and clarifying what your role is versus your superintendent. I'll let my other colleagues jump in on that.
This is Yvonne Chan. I'm from Los Angeles County Board of Education. That's very, very huge and with so many initiatives. So the challenge is really communication. So, with so many programs, so many sites, as well as responsibility for so many districts, it tends to kind of we're lost in the translation, in communication. So this is what we do. First of all, we have to meet 3 times a month, sometimes 3 times plus special. But aside from that though, however, because each one of us do dedicate our time so that, without any conflict of interest, we tend to talk to staff, and our superintendent is not, will say, no, you should not, okay? Because I understand there's some counties where, county boards do not directly talk to staff. You go through the superintendent to the staff. So with that trust factor, we absolutely can text or talk to the staff. Second is any times when we have a legal issues that maybe, not quite sure who's stepping on whose toe, then we definitely meet with legal counsel together with the superintendent or deputy superintendent, so that we can have that communication, and that knowledge base, and also the disposition on how we want to approach it. So game plan together, okay? And then, of course, thirdly is that during board meeting, when we have the opportunity to do communications, sometimes we're long-winded, but we're transparently put it out on exactly what bothers me, what I think that we should have done, and what we regretted that we did not do. Confession time, okay, sometimes. And that worked. So all in all, it's really channel of communication. And as you said, it's all about student achievement. There are absolutely many pathways for us to come together, not just to communicate, but actually strategize so that we will not bug down, and then we'll meet until 12 midnight. Thank you.
Well, I think those have been really great questions. And I think that we'll be delving into some of those issues in further future workshops. If you have any questions at all later on, feel free to email any of us, or you might, if you choose to join the mentoring program that Bina's going to talk about, you might be able to ask your mentor.
Thank you, Giuliano. And right after I talk about mentoring, we're going to open the floor again for your burning issues and challenges. So we'll come back to some of these questions. But if we could go to the next slide real quick for just, we wanted to share we're excited about this opportunity we're offering, which is a mentoring opportunity. We're envisioning it as a one-on-one mentor relationship between you and one of our seasoned trustees, if you will. The idea would be you could talk once or twice a month or more if you want. And then your mentor would really just be there to answer your questions, like these kinds of questions, and things that you could talk about anything, but you might want to review your board agenda with your mentor and go think about questions you might want to ask, because your power is in how you ask questions. Just understand the timing of, like, when does my budget come? When does the LCAP come? So I think using your mentor to understand how to really maximize your power in terms of your agenda that you have at your board meetings. You could be really specific, like sitting with you and talking about what's the best way to go through your LCAP or your county budget. It could also be going over your 9,000 bylaws with you. It could be talking through, like, how do you really maximize and use that board member comment at the end where y'all get a chance to make board comments? How do you maximize that opportunity? So again, the idea is for you just to have a peer who you can call on, because you have to be careful, obviously, of not within your own board breaking the Brown Act. So you can't talk to too many people at once. So anyway, we're hoping you guys will, if you're interested, let us know. You'll be able to do that on the survey at the end here. And then we're also we have 3 more of these Starting Strong sessions where we'll do kind of group mentoring, which we're going to get to in just a sec here. So any questions on the mentoring component? Okay. And seeing none right now, we'll be here if you do have questions, but I'm going to go to the next part, which is the burning issues. Ed?
Thank you, Bina. Yes, now you're going to have an opportunity to share any burning issues, questions, follow up to what we've presented. We know it's a lot, so we will try and respond. And if we don't have the answer, we'll be able to find the answer for you. So does anyone have something that either a comment or a question, or what's happening in your county board that you might have a question about? So we'll open it up, and then anyone can give you some feedback.
I have
Any questions?
I
Yes,
have
please.
a question, and I'm not really sure if this is something that you guys would deal with, but I've got all the background for being on the board, just with attending 8 years of it, being there at ICOE for 25 years. My question I have is, in my area, even though we don't necessarily cross over to the school districts, attending school board meetings at the districts within my area, my trustee area, is that something that you would suggest I do? Is that something that others do? How do I handle that?
I'd like to answer that one, if it's okay. Do you mind,
Absolutely.
Ed?
Please, Bev.
Because this was quite a big deal in our county. And my answer to you would be yes. Because one of the biggest issues that you are going to deal with as a county board member is the question, what do county board members do and what do county offices of education do? And by attending district meetings and introducing yourself and even speaking, just even if it's 2 minutes, whatever their amount of time for speakers is so helpful to you and your board and your county office. Because people don't know who we are and what we do.
Absolutely. Juliana.
And I would also say you can be a really great, no, I just lost the word I was going to use. You can be very helpful to those trustee board members also, because they may have questions about, how do I do this? What do I do? I'm not quite sure we have this issue. And so you can also be able to give good advice. When I'm at the board meetings, oftentimes I would be asked something like, well, what does the county do? Because a lot of the board members, as Bev said, they don't even know what we do. I mean, I remember one time, as a real life example, the school district board was complaining about the cost of special education and the county setting this and the county doing this and the county telling us we have to do that. And I said, you know that it's run by the SELPA. And they're like, well, who's the SELPA? And I said, the SELPA is made up of all of the district superintendents and the county superintendent. And 5 board members' heads whipped around looking at their superintendent, because all along he had been blaming the county office and the county board for everything that was wrong with SELPA. So sometimes you can set the record straight, but you can also be there just as a support and answer any questions.
100%, Bev and Juliana, I agree. And on our board, we used to have districts assigned to each board member. And so I would have 2 districts that I would go to, and we're going to be deciding whether we want to continue that. But it's totally, I think it's really important.
This
Does
is
that
Yvonne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So same thing as what Ed said. So there's 7 of us, and we do divide up. But one thing we do, 2 things we do. Number one is at LACO, we actually form a group, all 80 school districts as a representative district board, that they meet, and we always meet with them. Usually once a month, so that we can hear from all 80 school district boards on their issues, decline enrollment, yes, special ed, the interdistrict appeals. And then secondly is we do visit district schools when they either have a celebration or they actually take us on a tour, and that we go and visit their schools, and also be their cheerleader, when they have groundbreaking, special Heritage Month, and so forth. But also thirdly is we do, helping them to do inter-district cross learning. So that, if there's certain program, that is great in this particular district, like Hacienda Heights, and then next door, St. Gabriel's struggling with that, such as teacher shortage or whatever, and they can kind of help each other out. So that is something that, been very, very beneficial. And as much as we have 80 school districts, somehow we seem to be able to kind of cover as many districts as we can.
I feel bad. You have 80 and I had 2.
Oh, well, and one other example right now, because I am responsible for that area where Pasadena and Altadena is. So definitely LACO's out there, doing what we can to provide, whether it's counselors, whether it is, actually coordinate transportation. But I, as a board member, I will have to walk the line. I was out there in Pasadena School District, helping to find location, try to get permits ASAP, through the, politician and so forth. So that means when times that we overturn an expulsion, that we kind of send, hate to say, special ed kids to to a district, always getting them, we won't get as hard hit because it's very balanced in that way.
Good. Thank you, Lee. That was an excellent question.
And Lee, I like to participate in our school board meetings, mostly just kind of do some PR with them so that they know who we are and what we're about. I share student event calendars, the spelling bee, the mock trial, the science fair, whatever events are upcoming, I usually give them a calendar. Also, like our monthly newsletter. I know it's online, but I'd like to take them and hand them a hard copy so that they have that information whenever they need it. Other examples are recruitment fairs. All districts really appreciate, the county sponsors recruitment fair because we all know that teachers are sometimes a challenge. Good teachers are a challenge to find. So any kind of information that I feel is appropriate, I'd like to go and just share it with them.
Yeah, and any positive interactions, I think, and in terms of visibility, then when you do have to make those tough decisions, like Yvonne said, on expulsions or transfers, then they know, at least they know they have a face. You have connection, and that's important. Any other questions or things that are happening in your district? Going once, going twice. Okay.
Ed,
All right, then.
Ed, let me just add a thought.
Please.
We've had some great examples of the type of stuff everyone does. And I encourage everybody to be thinking about the range of things. The little caution I'll have is that it varies in every county. And the issue there is, as a board, sometimes it takes a little time to understand what your board does, what your board's processes are. I'm not suggesting you not make yourself known in all and move the agenda ahead on the many ways we're talking about. But on the other hand, remember, we operate only as a board. Our authority is based on our board action, but all this good communication, all this good community engagement is just very powerful. But at the same time, also recognize that that when we're in that district or talking to that parent, we have no authority based on our own individual membership. And I know we all know that, but at times we need to remind ourselves.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. So much information, right? Now what? Well, here are some next steps. Could we go to the next slide, please? Next steps, and these are very important. First one is, please fill out our survey. It should be in the chat, I believe. And that will really help us because in our planning, we want to meet your needs. Whatever your needs are, we want to meet them. And if you can give us feedback in the chat, in the survey, that would be great. And attend our next Starting Strong event on March 3rd. Sign up to be mentored. That's very exciting. And review the handbook. And as Bev said, when I started, there was no handbook, and I floundered for a while. So the link is in the chat. And group, is there anything to add? before we do our last closer activity?
No, but please do
Nada?
fill out the survey. Just, we really encourage you to do it right now while we're closing. It would be just really helpful for us to get your input for the next 3 sessions. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, next slide, please. Optimistic close. Okay, could you think about everything that we've presented? Is there one takeaway that you have, one thing that you heard tonight or you read that you're gonna take away and it's gonna help you feel it's gonna help you to be a more effective trustee? Hopefully there's more than one, but could you please share one thing that you learned? And you can just shout it out.
Yeah, it'd be great to do this verbally if people are willing.
Yeah, shout it out, or you can do it in the chat.
I'll share. My biggest takeaway is, I guess, since I've been too close to the trees to see the forest, is to understand that people don't know the county and they don't know the county board's responsibilities. So I really appreciated what everyone shared when I asked the question about if I should attend the school district meetings. And after I've heard everything, that's what resonated with me. And I love that. And I think that that's something that I now know that I need to do. As I've lived that life for so long, you forget people don't, unless they're in the trenches, they don't know what the county board does. My kids didn't even know what I did for a long time. They were adults when they finally figured out what I did.
Well, and the other issue with that, Lee, is that we have to keep re-educating, because the people out there change as well. So somebody that may know might be replaced with somebody that doesn't. So you'll find as a county board member that this is an ongoing project, but very important.
Excellent. Any other, anyone else willing to share something that really important that they took away from our presentation tonight?
Well, I want to just jump in and say how impressed I am by the number of people here who came to share their experience. This is like you're giving, and that's impressive, and you're doing it at a time that works for people. So I just want to express gratitude that you guys are all doing this for the new board members. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Group, is there anything that you would like to add? Hearing none, then I will say yes.
So to say, we'll stick around if you guys, actually, maybe we could take the slide down, Ron, so we can see each other. We'll stick around if any of you want to chit chat. And again, if you want to share what your experience was like tonight, we would really appreciate it. And because we do want to make these really relevant to you and not lecture at you, but really try to do more engaging discussion. So,
Well,
yeah,
I would like to say how much I appreciate everyone coming. It's very exciting, and being a new board member can be very challenging. And I'm absolutely thrilled to see my fellow board member, Patricia, here. That makes me so happy. And she always has great questions. So thank you, Patricia, for coming.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
This is Yvonne, and I just want to say thank you to Richard Lucas III and Mr. Macarena. Let's see, how do you say your name? Yeah, Ruben, because bless your heart that you responded when I, send you additional message. And I'm not a tech person. I'm on the LACO board and as trustee, kind of this is only my 4th year. And I'm trying to making sure that Richard and both of you get into this get to join. So I was driving our IT person crazy. But finally, I have to confess to both of you that I went ahead and just registered the 2 of you and call it a day and say, I'm not going to deal with that QR code anymore. So anyway, thank you, Richard, for being here. You made it. And also thank you for, Ruben for being here.
Thank everyone for being.
And we'll all stick around. And other than that, we will see you on March 3rd. Thank you, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.